Let's unpack it, fam. It's time to unpack.
Miller time. Dropping down.
So,
we need not go. So I need not say.
essentially, this unpacking has to do with religion, so proceed with caution if you really don't want to get into any type of thought-provoking things, if you have any beliefs that may go against your own. Today, I'm talking about a comment that I left on a brother, Anton Daniels. Shout out to Anton Daniels and the Anton Daniel lights over there on Room 9. Goddamn, go check them out on Anton Daniels, the Millionaire Morning Show, all of that good shit. Outside of that, though, I was watching the After Hours show on his Room 9 channel. And they had a guest on there, 2K. Now, y'all may know of 2K, Southern brother. Be doing all types of content over on YouTube. He mainly over on Kick now. Shout out to 2K too. But essentially, I just left my comment and just said my piece. And I explained, I said, I agree with 2K's religious take. Understand that God is energy within everything on this 3D plane, high and low frequency. All the characters within that Bible are allegorical principles of self. And Christ is a state of mind, not a person. The second coming that we talk about is essentially the individual seeing things from a higher frequency. And religious keeps us trapped in a lower frequency. Hence why there's so much corruption in the church. Look into Constantine and the Council of Nicaea back in 325 AD. And I'm just adding that up in there. But it says a lot about religion. Sincerely, a former Roman Catholic. Then some goofy replied, Catholicism really messed you up. Okay, whatever. But this is where I'm at with it. The meat and the potatoes of this whole conversation today and what we got to unpack immediately, right? Romans 12:07. Another troll page. They don't have any pictures. They ain't got no videos up, no subscriptions, nothing. That's already a red flag to me, but that's besides the point. He's saying that I'm a current Catholic. If your position is that we can discard religion because of corruption, to be logically consistent, you would also have to believe that discarding every other institution and ideology because of the corruption. That would mean that you don't believe in science, government, law enforcement, schools, parenting, swords, atheism, etc. There's corruption in all institution ideologies. That in itself doesn't mean that they aren't true, legitimate, or beneficial. That would be a position someone takes due to being jaded, not because of healthy logic. Now, you see where he fucked up at, right? Already saying some condescending shit, right? Basically saying that my logic is flawed because of what my stance is on religion. Some shit that I've been studying since I was legit, right? Since I was younger. The problem with this man's whole argument is that how the fuck do you assume that I don't believe in science, government, law enforcement, schools, parenting, stores, atheism, and etc.? Whatever the fuck you talking about, that has nothing to do with the basis of what I'm speaking on, which is specifically religion. And that's what I told him. And then he goes on to say, if you want to see the benefits of religion, namely Catholicism, look at the Carolingian minuscule, whatever the fuck that is, the work of Catholic priests in the field of seismology, the Church of Fathers in philosophy, the Catholic charity initiatives throughout the world, influence of the church and universities, etc. You will find the Catholic religion has brought many scientific, academic, physical, and cultural beliefs to the world and is still standing strong throughout all the scandals and persecutions. Okay, well, can you explain this to me, Romans? Why the fuck is religion? Now, they say separate the church and the state, right? That you're supposed to keep all of that shit separate. But why in the fuck is the church getting 503Cs? Can you explain that to me? Can we speak on that? We talking about corruption. Oh, they donate to charities and all that shit. Okay. We know that charitable organizations, nonprofits, they get tons of money and that shit goes right to the pockets of the people that's running the organization. That is a fucking absolute. That's not up for debate. This shit can be looked up. I'm not looking it up right here, right now. You can do your own research on your own time. But the fact that you're trying to put words in my mouth, see, this is the problem with people. How do we go from talking about my religious views and what I agree with on 2K's point, but you want to sit here and tell me off my process? For me to be logically consistent, I would also have to believe in discarding every other institution ideology because of corruption. That's what you think, bro. I'm well aware there's a good fucking reason why we don't say fuck the fire department, right? It's a reason why the NWA came up with the song they came up with. There's corruption in the fucking law enforcement, obviously. There's corruption in everything. But for you to sit here and assume that just because I look at one aspect that I'm talking about currently, that I have to think that every other thing isn't flawed, which I do. There's a flaw in all of this shit, right? The whole idea of the country being based off of capitalism in itself says a lot about how people think. It's called finesse. Long story short, right? There's corruption in the government. You see how everybody and they fucking mama trying to stop certain policies and shit from getting passed through. It was just a vote in the House that had something to do with pretty much taking the tariff profits, the revenue that we bought in from tariffs, getting pretty much given to people, workers, X, Y, and Z, and having them get a deposit on their HSA account, their healthcare account, whatever. So if you telling me that the government blocked that from going through, which basically could have put thousands of dollars in Americans' pockets through their HSA, which you can withdraw from and take the monies out and put that towards bills or whatever the fuck else you need, that I don't see that as a flaw. So the opportunity to put money in Americans' pockets got blocked by people that we elected to office. And it ain't Trump. It ain't the fucking all of the Republicans. It ain't all of the Democrats. That's why you have more than one person in the seat, right? But the decisions of everybody pretty much put people in a position where it's like, damn, you could have got some money in your HSA, but now you ain't getting shit because the Senate and the House voted down on it. Majority, right? So that puts us in a fucked up position where we could have got money, but now we don't get it because they said, nah, we not gonna give it to them. The fuck type of shit is that, right? But outside of that, I replied to Romans and I said, I'm 100% sure I said all religion in quotes. Therefore, there's no need to reach and include science, politics, law enforcement, etc. And I'm not sure what your argument is. But to add assumptions about my thoughts on other institutions is irrelevant to my point. I'm specifically talking about religion, but thanks for the input. It won't influence my belief one way or the other. And it's not. So then he replies back and says, you said religion keeps us trapped in a lower frequency and use that to explain corruption in the church. Well, religion and church go hand in hand like peanut butter and jam, don't it? Fuck is we talking about? So, yeah. But now he goes on to say basically dismissing religion as dumb and corrupt. I never said that, but in a sense, you right. You hitting it on the head, bro. You putting words in my mouth, but hell, I didn't say it. You did, but thanks for the confirmation. Goes on to say my counter argument is that if corruption disqualifies religion for you, then he would also disqualify every other institute. Again, going back to assumptions. What the fuck is wrong with this man? My counter argument is that if corruption disqualifies religion for you, then that would also disqualify every other institution that has corruption. If you were logically consistent. But I'm assuming that you don't discard other institutions because of corruption. Therefore, I conclude that you are not logically consistent. You are just biased against religion. I added the part about advancements from the church to demonstrate that religion, specifically Christianity, is actually a very high frequency and responsible for much of what we enjoy today. I'm praying for you, brother. Condescending shit. First off, fuck your prayers. Keep that shit to yourself. Goof ass nigga. I'm just gonna keep it a band with you. with all of that fake ass. That's exactly my point, bro. This is why I say religion is fucking corrupt. I don't buy into that shit. I don't buy into the idea. Let me specify. I don't buy into the idea of having people follow only certain scriptures, certain times of the year, being told X, Y, and Z in the pastor's interpretation of what these scriptures mean and how you're supposed to move. This is my whole point. Everything that you need to know is innate within you. All you got to do is just look and pay attention. You don't need a book to give you guides on how to fucking live life. It's already in you. The spider doesn't need to know how to spin a web out of the mother's sac. It already knows how to do that immediately as a little webling, as a little spiderling. It can already do that shit. It already has its nature within it. You don't need to explain certain shit. There's so much flaws and so many holes in this story that I guess that's why they call it the Holy Bible, because hallowed be thy name. God damn. Hallowed be thy name. That's exactly what it is. A book full of holes in it. And y'all will sit there and try to find reasons to justify all of this shit. Well, can you explain to me Constantine and the Council of Nicaea then, since we're here with it? Explain to me Alexander the Great, all of these other fucking warriors and people that have empires in the past that have pretty much moved and created chaos and destruction across the world based off of religion. Because God told me to do this, I'm just gonna kill all y'all, take y'all resources and shit because, well, you don't believe in what I believe in. But I'm just gonna blame it on God. Anything to absolve yourself of responsibility and accountability. I'm just gonna say we did it in the name of this. You don't see a problem with that? Fuck is we talking about? That makes no sense. You trying to justify by saying something outside of you confirmed this for me, so I'm just going to take action because they told me to. That sounds like psychosis to me. You would try to say that anything outside of you told you to do some shit, but you just didn't have the feeling to just do it. We can't keep on blaming God and the devil for certain actions that motherfuckers take. You got to start blaming yourself. In the state of mind you're in. Are you in a high frequency mode? Or are you in low frequency mode? If you're in low frequency mode, more than likely you're going to do some fuck shit and say that it was justified, right? If you're in a higher frequency, you seeing above and beyond shit past your emotions, and you're going to do shit based off of what the fuck you see is best for the people and self included, right? What's best for the people without impeding on anybody else's beliefs or their way of living that would be a detriment. Right? But y'all don't see it how I see it. And that's okay to have the disagreement, to have the, your beliefs. But like I said before, it doesn't sway my opinion. Not even an opinion, but it doesn't sway what the fuck it is just because you want to believe and hold on to some shit that you've been taught as a child but never challenged it. You just kept going with it. Nothing wrong with religion is what it teaches. From what it teaches. What's wrong with it is the people that's leading these motherfucking places and how they try to get you suckered into moving a certain way because they keep throwing this heaven and hell shit at you. That's the main thing. That's what y'all really don't want to get into. Because if you really understood what the fuck this was, if you look at things and you know that energy cannot be created nor destroyed, it's just a recycling of it. So you understand that science is explaining more shit than the Bible could ever do, right? When I was younger, I had that question: what the fuck is the correlation between the science and the Bible? Science explains more shit to you than the Bible can, right? So understanding that energy can only be moved around and not necessarily destroyed, then you should basically understand that we're in a spirit phase in the physical. This realm that we call the 3D is a physical realm, right? This is only part of a spirit phase. Spirit phase is damn near infinite. You can call it infinite at this point. But the phase here only lasts so many years. We can measure this whatever the fuck we call time, which is an illusion, but we are here for a set period of time, right? You thinking that something that was bought here against his own will would suffer, like we ain't already doing that. Hold on, I'm getting somewhere. Would then have to perish and have to deal with some other shit in the afterlife that would pretty much damn you to hell. Pretty much have you burning in a lake of fire and shit. Wouldn't the phase of spirit being here in the third density be considered hell if we really think about it? So if you bought here, you got to deal with highs and lows. It don't matter. You gonna have to go through some form of suffering. You gonna have to go through some form of discomfort and shit. And you telling me that this doesn't equate to the hell of these people in this book talk about being in the afterlife. Technically, I guess you could say this can be the afterlife because there was a phase of spirit before this. Whether you came back to this motherfucker or whether you came from a different realm and came down here for a purpose and decided to say, I want to go to this realm of the spirit to do X, Y, and Z. Why the fuck should you be held in some type of trap of religion to say, hey, if you don't do it like this, you're gonna go to hell? A lot of shit you already know innately. A lot of shit you know what to do and what not to do. You know it's bad to kill people unjustly. Because I have a feeling about that too. It says thou shalt not kill, but there's a lot of motherfuckers out here that's doing crazy shit. It's kind of like if a motherfucker rob your house, try to rob you, and they got a gun on them, you got a gun on you, you tell me you just gonna let them get their shit off? If you got sights on them, if you can actually get their ass before they get you, I don't understand. And if that person perishes, that's what I'm saying. Like, it got y'all in fear. Y'all so worried about heaven and hell, not realizing that you're already here. You're already here, fam. Call it what you want. Only a place like this where you gotta deal with pain and suffering and see people go through shit. That in itself is some depressing ass shit when you think about it on a grand scale of things. So much shit going on in the world where they suffering, going through shit, and we seeing this shit on the news all across the globe and shit, the wars in the Middle East and all of that shit. Towns being torn down to rubble, motherfuckers in types of hellish living conditions and shit, and the governments therein got shit set up a certain way where everybody, this is all fucked up. It's all fucked up. But we so worried about practicing a certain spiritual belief, a certain religion that's already flawed, already hollow, already holy, right? It's already flawed. It has holes in it. Hallowed be thy name, my nigga. It's already fucked up. Don't try to convince me to try to go back into some shit and study it and try to get something from it. I already got from it. I would say I'm more of a fucking Christian than most motherfucking Christians out here. Why am I saying this? Because, dude, do y'all even remember or know about the season of Lent and what the fuck you supposed to do in that season? You're supposed to fast from something. You're supposed to be giving something up. You can look at Islam, Muslims, Ramadan, same thing, different name. You see them practicing that shit more than Christians practice Lent. And that's just what it is. Why is that? There's a flaw here. Something's wrong here. But that's pretty much all I got to say, man. We gonna just keep it right there. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Like, share, and subscribe to Militime. And also check out militime.life for all your holistic health product needs. Sea moss, herbal supplements like sarsaparilla. We got Anamu, diatomaceous earth, spirulina. Check me out, fam. If you're having problems, any type of issues with your physical, I can get you right. So check me out. Until next time, y'all take care. Salute.
Think abstract, you just whack, you too old for that. Take accountability, it's some things you need to tweak. New lesson learning now, I got a topic every week.
Give a fuck about what your pop said. Yeah, bitch, shut your mouth. No, you roll like the Rock said. Don't give a fuck about what your